Okay, cool, right. Hello, Internet. Welcome back to FreediveUK Extravaganza. I'm Ian Donald, and this is...
Brett Morrison.
And today we will be talking about Polespears. Kind of what types you can get, why you might want to use one, and if it's the right kind of thing for you, because you know it might not be at all. I've got three types with me. There are so many types, and Brett's got one that he hasn't brought with him today, which is really annoying. But there you go.
Annoying, especially because it is a beauty.
Oh, the bits are falling off. Right, so different materials. Here we have a aluminium Polespear. Okay, this is made by a company called Evolve from Hawaii. This is an 8-foot variant, so you have different lengths. Before I kind of go into it, why would you use a Polespear? Like, what's the reason for using a Polespear over a gun?
Just get a little bit close and in touch with things. I think I'm a late entrant into this. I've only got mine in 2018.
Yeah.
From California, from Gatku Polespears. I went over and I actually met them and sort of saw their whole operation, and great kit. Yeah, I love it. They've got a few little sort of extras which I brought back with me.
Yeah.
One of them being the G-string,
okay,
which takes the pressure off holding the
yes.
clever little
band.
Yeah, holds the band. Clever little piece of metal, and yeah, slip tips and all that. Great kit.
I mean, for me, a Polespear gives me, first of all, really good for travel.
Yep.
I mean, way better than a gun. Like, if you've ever taken a spear gun through any airport, you normally get some hassle.
Never gun.
Yeah, never say gun.
Fishing
equipment. Yeah, fishing equipment. What's in the bag, sir? It is fishing equipment.
There's a trigger. There's a handle. This looks like a gun.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Fishing equipment.
Yeah, never say gun out loud in an airport anywhere. Unless you want some special attention.
You'll be deep diving.
There'll be some deep diving going on. It won't be the type you'll enjoy. Really good to travel with. Very adaptable. So you know, Polespear could take the biggest fish of your life. It could also take the smallest fish of your life.
Yeah, I mean, you set up with you know, another system. Belt reels to floats, etc. You can bring that into the mix.
Yeah, exactly. You know. So you can go kind of as much into it as you want.
Yeah.
The 8-foot, good kind of middle ground.
That's me. Yeah.
You know, good middle ground. It means you could, you know, if you know the whale turned up that one day, you wouldn't be undergunned, but you know it also means you're not over the top with everything. Just gonna put this together so you can have an idea. Now the thing is with internet videos, YouTube and Polespears is that you can't, like, it's so hard to kind of like demonstrate, because it's like, look, here it is, and you're just seeing this little section from here to here. But you know, as I push it far off camera and you can't see what's going on, you can get the idea how long they are. They're very slim. So this one here, it's got the basic paralyzer tip that comes with the Evolve. It's just kind of like a carbon steel paralyzer. You can get very different types of tips with these as well. So ranging from a standard flopper, so like on a spear gun, which I think I've got over there somewhere, typically.
The shorter paralyzer tip here.
Yeah, so paralyzer tip for on a cheaper style.
Cheaper one, yeah.
So if we're talking prices here, all right. So for a start, this aluminium one's going to set you back, I think, in the region of £180 sterling, compared to £25 sterling. So if you're not sure what you want to do, then maybe this is a more sensible option. I mean, this is provided by Spearfishing Store. 3-piece fiberglass with little, I guess, aluminium midsektions in there.
There's a pronounced bit on the cheaper one, which is not ideal with, you know, if you can release in that. It's sometimes clips you a bit, but
yeah, if you're
generally in the UK using gloves, but
Yeah.
Still, it's
these more expensive ones. They're just nice and smooth all the way through, like machined aluminium, aircraft grade, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the type of tips that you can get. So paralyzer tips, good for reef hunting. So it doesn't go all the way through a fish, like miles through. It's gonna kind of like grab onto the fish. I mean, I spoke to the guy who runs Evolve, and I was kind of asking what are the weights, you know, what kind of size fish would you be able to get with a paralyzer? I can't remember the exact numbers, but I was shocked at how big fish people are getting with paralyzer tips.
Well, they nailed them in the hogfish, isn't it?
That's right.
That is a big.
Yes.
The paralyzer tips seem to be used on hogfish, and they get quite chunky.
Yeah, exactly.
Bahamas.
Yeah, Bahamas.
Where you can't use a spear gun.
Yeah, so that's the other reason, right?
This is the point with Polespears. That's where this whole market just, you know, we see it a lot on online, social media, and that guys hitting epic-looking hogfish down the Caribbean. Yeah. Lionfish, etc.
Yeah, great for lionfish. So if you want to go kind of full conservation project,
they're in and around. I'm hearing stories. They're popping up in the Med now.
Oh, really?
They're in the Med.
Jeez. Wow.
Well, they're coming in, aren't they, in the ship's ballasts?
Yeah, there's no reason why they wouldn't. I mean, if you don't know the whole lionfish story, lionfish kept either for pets or carried in ballast from the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean into the Caribbean. Huge pest, eat everything, nothing wants to eat them. Good thing is for us, they're easy to catch and delicious, but it is an overwhelming odds against us getting them all. You know, I mean, there are like bazillions of them.
And you don't want to get spiked by them.
You don't want to get spiked by them. They're super tasty.
Bad
They're
times.
really
So
tasty.
you've heard that analogy, chicken of the sea.
Yeah.
We've heard that of triggerfish sometimes, but it's the similar thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so with these paralyzer tips, you don't have to think, oh, I'm stuck to tiny fish and lionfish. You can get pretty chunky sized fish with these. So this one by Evolve, this is like a knurled stainless steel paralyzer. So you got the 3 points splaying out once it hits the fish, and then they grip extra with this kind of knurled edges on there. So you get a little bit of barb action, I guess. They're pretty tasty though. That's a nice little thing.
Very well machined.
Yeah, and then you can go either with so I do have them, I don't have it to show you, but just imagine it, it's kind of pretty obvious. Standard spear gun type tip where you have just a flopper coming off a little piece like so. And then you've got this is a slip tip, so if you're familiar with kind of like big game fishing,
tuna, bluefin, yellowfin, etc.
something that's going to destroy
wahoo,
your kit or destroy you. Then that's where you want the slip tip. Do you want to try and explain how that works?
So essentially that's on the end of your standard Polespear in place of the paralyzer tip, so this is just the next adaptation, and essentially that will on release go into the fish, hopefully with a good penetrating shot, correctly placed, obviously all times, you'd like to think.
Obviously.
That would then go into the fish, detach, and pull through. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It would have. And that will roll back.
Or it breaks.
Or whatever. And so your gun will be there, your pole will be there, and that will be inside embedded, hopefully, in a bit of bone or cartilage or gilt plate or at least something. And essentially make a good holding.
Yeah, so it will hold better on a big fish. When a big fish plays hard, it's not going to bend and break your spear.
It's doing that rather than...
Yeah. It means that the fish can do what it wants, and you don't have 8 foot of bending, torquing pole, which could tear through the meat. This is going to give it a lot more play. So if you're going to go for bigger fish, it's a nice little thing to have in the kit bag, because, again, it doesn't take... it's tiny, and it just changes what would be with a paralyzer tip for small fish into something immediately massive fish.
I will say I have used this on bass.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes don't want to mess up a bass's flank. We don't have, great big game fish over here, so sometimes I mess up a bass, our European bass's flank, and the whole fillet. So I'll use that.
Yeah.
And generally it'll keep him nice and safe.
Yeah. A little plastic tip to put over it, which you'll lose within one day.
Nice and sharp. I think is it Cam Kirkconnell who's got the record for Polespears?
He's super into it, right? That's kind
very
of like
into his
Polespears. You'll see a lot of the the big guys, the guys who been out spearfishing for donkey's years and are in the position to go and get big fish all the time. A lot of them are moving into Polespears.
Brandon Wallace.
Yeah. And for what reason? I don't know. More of a challenge, kind of like. I don't know, like it's personal, I guess.
It's personal, yeah. You're just getting back in touch.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing I like about it. I was saying what I liked about it, completely went off topic, but you get closer, you've got to be better.
You're freer. Sometimes, I don't sort of want to be carrying the gun, and you can just cruise, and it's not always going for a dive to get something. It's about going for the dive and the experience. Yeah. Carrying Polespears sometimes just takes the pressure for the Europe.
And if you've got it all broken down, you could always just zip it to your float, and you could maybe have, if you had a gun, you could go and get a cheap Polespear, zip it to your float, and if something happens with your gun, which happens, if you're going out for a whole day mission,
you're backed up.
You're fine, it's like, otherwise you're stuffed, it's home time. So
how many times have bands broken on a standard rubber band gun?
Yeah, exactly. And then that's it. Just to go over this in a bit more detail, like you've got carbon fibre front section, aluminium right at the tip, and then this is kind of interesting about this particular one. They call this the Aftershock. Okay, it's the Aftershock system. Certainly sounds cool. I've got no data to prove how well it works. I like to think it works.
I'll tell you now that 8-footer Polespear going into you isn't going to be nice.
No, exactly. So it's going to
shock.
That's the shock in itself. Now, the reason they call it the Aftershock is that within this middle section there's like a little dum-dum bullet, essentially. There's a little weight. I don't know how heavy the weight is. It's kept near the back section with a magnet, so there's no movement as it goes through. But then if you all listen very carefully, hear that second clunk? So there it is inside, and so it's clunk clunk. Yeah? So that little thing, as soon as it hits whatever you're trying to hit, then flies forwards, and theoretically it gives more inertia to the shot, which might make you get that fish.
It'll work predominantly on the bigger fish, not so much
small fish is going to struggle to keep away. I mean, it's going to go through anything really. The last one is going to go through, and this isn't like, oh, I'm just selling you Evolved Polespears. This is more so that you can see the material. So this is the next.
I would have bought my GatQ. That's more for me. Could have plugged the GatQ guys.
Well, you're doing it now.
California. Great guys, stopping in Zello.
Check them out.
Check them out. I think Chris Spears too. They are one in the same. They're.
There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good Polespears out now. I mean, when I first started looking for ones, it was hard to get one that I thought was good. And then there was just this influx of brands that were just really pushing it and making really nice quality stuff.
The thing is, they are sexy. They are literally machined beautifully. These guys are engineers. You go into an engineering shop. Yeah, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and these aren't cheap things to produce as well. Like getting the carbon done, all custom sized, all of this machined little sections. So this is a carbon one. Why would you go carbon over aluminium? It's just faster. That's it. They're faster. They actually don't have as much stopping power short range potentially, but they're going to go a little bit further because they're just the weight of it.
I think GatQ do advertise a bend on their aluminium sort of poles, their range poles, but it does have that carbon top bit there. Yeah. Which they do advertise a flex. So if it is a case of hunting reefs down the Caribbean or it doesn't matter, within the UK, it doesn't matter. And that fish is maybe burying itself in there, and it's taking that bend. There's a little bit of a bend. So there is a method in the madness on some of these offerings. Yeah.
So. Yeah, again, it's just leaving up to you as to think whether or not a Polespear is going to be a nice addition to what you do. I mean, for me, I definitely enjoy them more now than a gun. So, but I mean, that's just a personal thing. I find them a bit more adaptable, a bit more of a challenge and more relaxing at the same time.
I was sold when I brought it back to the UK. I hadn't had a chance to use it in California, and the first fish I went out with was, I actually took two groms out for a little exploratory spearfishing
You didn't shoot the Grant.
session. Didn't shoot them, no. And yeah, one was my son, and another one his mate Travis, and they actually got to see me use it in action. I was just lucky, and a decent bass came in, and I could not believe. I never used one before, just how accurate it was, and the sense of satisfaction of that hunt, and that opportunity, and then the result.
Yeah.
For these two kids, it was just like, wow.
Yeah, and I mean it's an interesting point with kind of like how accurate they can be, because I mean I say it all the time to students that shooting a spear gun is like an instinctive shot. You don't aim a spear gun like you would a rifle, you know, with 2 points and line it all up. You'll just miss shots, miss opportunities more than anything. But it's 10 times more with a pole spear. It's you're just pointing your thumb at a fish and releasing your grip. Yeah. And that's it, you know, and there's very little to think about, you know, you don't overthink it, which is really nice. I feel
when I'm pole spearing too, I do seem a lot more relaxed, because with a gun, you're doing some just slightly different holding movements. But with the pole spear, sometimes you're just holding your pole and you're really getting in that zone, aren't you? That you're zen almost.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a relaxing dive.
Yeah, it is a relaxing dive. And yeah, I mean, it could be, like I said, it could be like a nice little addition for what you do.
Get one. I would put one in a travel bag.
Even if it's £25, little fiberglass jobby, you know, it's not going to last forever, but it will give you a damn good idea about whether you like it or not.
Some of these the med places, Greece. I was taking mine to Greece a lot. You know, where you just want to be a little bit more discreet.
Yeah. Or if you're going with your family and you don't want to bring like all your stuff.
Exactly.
It's like stick that in the bag. Done.
Last thing, you know, you want to be at the airport, same story.
Guns. Yeah.
Kids, family, you come on a club med package or something.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
And the other thing, I mean, like with family and just walking to the beach with a pole spear, it's so much less threatening.
It's nothing, is it? Yeah. You could actually leave it out in the open, no one would know what it is.
No, it's a stick. Yeah. It's just a stick, you know. When you walk down to the beach, a busy beach, or like with a gun, like I've had like old ladies come up to me, oh, you shouldn't do that, no, you know, and like I've never had that with a pole spear, and you know, like you're saying with your son in the water, you know, demonstrating someone with a gun in the water, you've always got that thing of what if I go crazy and miss and I hurt somebody. With a pole spear, your range is limited. It's never loaded until you feel the power in your hand. You can never accidentally discharge it unless you went completely mental.
Yep.
So there's that risk factor is taken away.
It's loaded or it's not loaded.
Yeah. It's a stick or it's not. You know, you feel, so you load them by hooking the rubber into your hand, right? And you pull it all the way through. So
demonstration time.
Demonstration. So rubber in the crook of your thumb like that, and then all you're doing is pulling back. Okay, like so, and then when you need to fire, you just release.
Yes.
You can twist it. Some people twist.
Twist for a little bit more. That load, it can hold you at that sort of pressure is it does wear on you sometimes. Yeah. But that's where I was talking about that G-string little piece of aluminium. It is like a little G or J. And there's a little wound loop that's here mid pole, and you can actually just bring the two and clip it on, and leave it under pressure, and it is as simple as getting your thumb in there, and you just unhook it. Yeah. So it is a great little thing by the GATQ guys. Check it out on their website or social media.
And I think, could you use that on any pole spear, do you think?
Yes, you can use that on any pole spear. So there you go. So you might want to even just see if you want to order one off them anyway and just use it.
Yeah, because that's the other, I mean, they can get tiring, like if you're holding under pressure for a long time. I mean, this one, like you can get a little, this is like a little wrap.
This is the wrap, so you would have to put the wrap. You'd put a bit of Dyneema.
Dyneema underneath.
And then you'd put the wrap on. Yeah. And then you would give
and then you heat shrink that onto the pole. So that's just heat shrink wrap, and then little Dyneema to give it some sort of grip. Slides over the top.
The guys are probably doing that kit for you to maybe upgrade. I'd check it out. Check it out. Yeah.
Cool. Right. Thanks, Brett.
GATKU. What have we got there?
Evolve.
I think there's Chris. Spearfishing Store.
Standard.
One that,
entry,
more entry.
IST do one.
IST do one.
Epsilon do a cheap one. Kind of, because you can go for 25. You can go like 70s, 80s, 100s.
Do Momo do one? Momo design.
If they did, it would be
It'd
fucking
be
sexy.
sexy.
It would
Jeez.
be fucking sexy.
I'd be all over it.
I'd be all over it. Yeah, exactly. So, Momo Design, if you're listening, we want a sexy Polespear.
Umberto Pellizzari,
Yeah.
and get on the job.
Get on it, man. Get on it. Sweet. Okay, thanks very much, guys. We will see you again for more exciting discussions about underwater things.
Getting more and more exciting as we go along. These.
You wait. Eventually, we'll have so much excitement we won't be able to know what to do. Anyway.
We need a bigger container.
We need a big
I
container.
mean, it's subtropical in here.
It's so hot in here, I can't tell you how it is. It's a very sunny day outside and we're in a metal box. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Take it easy.
Cheers.
Ciao.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.